Welcome back to Well. My name's Laura. I'm your host, and this is the podcast where we chat about the business of wellness and how this industry of ours intersects with just about everything else in life. Today, we're going to be chatting about loneliness and how our industry can have an impact on this epidemic and really change the course of events for so many lives. I've brought on Justin and Greg, the owners of SoulSeek Yoga. They have 3 locations, 2 in Manhattan Beach and 1 in Santa Barbara. And if you have ever been to a studio where you felt absolute belonging, welcome, smiles, and joy, that's what it's like at SoulSeek. I wanted to hear straight from them how they are intentionally building a culture of belonging. When you walk into their studio, you feel that immediately. Everybody turns and smiles at you, people offer to help, and your teachers do not forget your name. I really wanted to understand what it is they infuse into the culture, the values, and the day-to-day decisions that help bring belonging, welcoming, and really something to combat loneliness into their business. Hello, my friends. Justin and Greg are here with me today. Thanks so much for joining me on Well, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Oh my gosh.
So happy to be here.
A long time coming. Justin and Greg have been some of our favorite clients at Walla since, do you even remember when you started? I can't.
I don't, but not soon enough. We should have started just a year though.
A year, 2 years earlier.
It was probably better. It was probably,
we had a lot of,
I think we started.
22?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to guess. Yeah. Okay. Well, you've seen a lot of change in our products. So thank you for always being such such willing participants in all of our wild ideas of making the software better.
I love it.
Oh, well, today we're going to be chatting a lot about the community you've built, the space of belonging that you've built with SoulSeek, and how that really is combating the loneliness epidemic. And obviously there'll be plenty of offshoots on how yoga plays into other aspects of life and your particular studio communities. But if you don't mind, I think the listeners would love, and I would love, a little bit more detail and context into how you guys landed into yoga and what shaped your path into this entrepreneurship journey.
Well, it was all very unexpected, like many things in life. I was in grad school. I was a performer in theater and in music. And I was introduced to somebody who said, we do this thing called Bikram yoga. And I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. And I hated working out. I hated anything physical. I was just not my thing. And she started doing classes. Like, she would lead classes in a bedroom in her house where we would have 7 space heaters in this bedroom, right?
Oh my God.
At the door. And there would be 6 of us. And we would do it every single day because there wasn't a Bikram studio near us where I was in Ohio. And so we would do it every day. And I noticed, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel really good. Physically, mentally, everything. I just started feeling really good and in my body. And I really, really loved it. And that was kind of the only yoga experience I had had. Fast forward, after grad school, I moved to New York and I was a performer. And I was stressed out. I was totally hitting, massive amounts of social anxiety, stress. I was on the audition circuit, really hustling. And I had met Greg, and we moved in together. And there was a yoga studio really close to our apartment, as there is in New York City.
In New York, of course.
In New York City, of course. And it was this cute little yoga studio, and he had been going. And one day I said,
because I did a Christmas present.
I bought him a Christmas present there, yes. And one day I said, you know what, I'm gonna go. But it wasn't Bikram, so I was like, I don't know about that other kind of yoga. And it was a vinyasa studio. And the first class I absolutely hated. And but then I was drawn back, and that was really my journey into really the yoga that I know now, which is vinyasa. I was hooked instantly. We started practicing. I felt better in every way. And then one day I said, you know what? I feel like I want to be a teacher. I feel like I have something to say. I want to hold space for people, because space for me, for us, was held so beautifully by the teachers that we were lucky enough to have at the time. I really wanted to do that. And I was really tired of, I had a day job and I was really tired of the corporate world. And I wanted to really just pursue something completely different. And I was like, I'm going to do a teacher training and I'm going to teach. Wow. So I did a teacher training and I immediately started teaching right away in New York City. And for many years, I taught way too many classes. I think the highest at one point was 28 classes in 1 week.
Oh my God. Especially if that's in a hot studio, that's killer.
Yes, many of them were. And so wow. I got to a point where I loved California. It was always calling me. And Greg had a corporate job and we had visited LA and we said we would really love to move out here. And they had an office out here. And they said, well, there's never any openings. And randomly there was an opening on one of the coldest days that we had experienced in New York in many years. And we took it and we came to LA.
Wow.
And that's how we got here. And then, one day I was sitting down and I was teaching for one of my teachers who has a studio in Venice. And I sort of realized, I was like, I can't really do this hustle thing here. I can't really teach 28 classes a week.
Yeah.
The experience is very different, in LA. And I had been teaching at a studio in Manhattan Beach, which is in the South Bay of Los Angeles. And I had started teaching there. And I said, these are my people. I love these people. I just felt at home right away. And shortly after that, I was approached about buying the business.
Oh my gosh.
Which was never in the trajectory, never a thought. And somebody had approached me actually right before a class. And during the entire class, I kept thinking about all of the potential if I could make this happen. And I was getting really excited. And I hadn't been excited about something like that in a long time. So I said, well, I'll go home and I'll talk to Greg. And I assumed that he would say no. And he's a little bit more of the practical one of the two of us. And the opposite was true. He was like, actually, no, we should do this.
That's incredible.
And so we made it happen. And that was really never in the cards to be a full-fledged entrepreneur with a very high overhead and staff and things like that. But that's how we started. And we started in, it's an oceanfront studio. And that was our, really our baby for a year. And then COVID happened.
Oh God.
And then we were a year to the day.
It was a year to the day. And then COVID happened. And then we were in lockdown for almost 2 years. But we were able to keep a hold of the community, build the community, thrive. And then now we've expanded into 2 other locations, which was incredible. Never in the cards, but has been such a blessing and a challenge and a blessing. Yeah.
Yeah. All the things.
Okay.
2 questions, follow-up questions. You said you both were in corporate. So what were your corporate world jobs? Like, was it anything that has helped you in entrepreneurship or
100%.
Totally not?
Well, yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I started as like I was an actor. So I started as a receptionist for this like huge advertising agency in New York City. And that evolved into me managing one of the top CEOs in pharmaceutical advertising and working with her. And it was now looking back, I'm like, oh, this was really my education for business.
Yeah.
Because I learned so much, working with someone who was that high powered and had so much pressure, and a huge staff to manage. And he has a similar experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I worked for McKinsey for almost 10 years. So it's about as corporate as it gets.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was part of the support team there for quite some time.
Oh man. Well, at least that I'm sure gave you a different lens to look at the business of yoga through. It's not many people go into opening a yoga studio or taking control of an existing yoga studio with the lens that a McKinsey employee does.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so you acquire the studio, which anybody listening, if you are ever in Manhattan Beach, California, please go check out the studio. It really is right on the beach. And I mean, I got to take a class there, and even when you said close your eyes, I'd be like peeking with one eye open because it's so gorgeous looking out the window at the ocean. Oh, you can't imagine a more dreamy spot. But that, when you took over that studio, did you rebrand right away? Did you completely shift the kind of why behind the studio's vision, or did you try to carry along with the current stream?
Yeah, I think with that particular time, we did do a gentle rebrand, I would say. Where we kept the name, we updated, all of the general branding materials that you would. It was important, I think, for me, because the community there was so beautifully built already that it wasn't me coming in and having to really fix anything per se, as we just needed to breathe some fresh life into this beautiful space that had been really well taken care of and had a community already that we could grow on. And so really the first year we changed the logo, we changed the colors, we painted the walls, and that was pretty much it.
We were, and also like it's funny because you really do, and I feel like most yoga studios would say like COVID changed everything. So like it really was that 1 year in that sort of old model that was a lot gentler, like it didn't, the pressure wasn't as high, which is wonderful because like we both had some business experience, but like nothing in the fitness community. Like not, my other past was I was also in the performing arts. So I ran a theater. So I know a lot about like non-for-profit management, which is not in any way the same thing as a for-profit business. And so kind of beginning to merge, we were lucky to have that time to sort of let our kind of different strands come together in a business mindset that made a little bit of sense.
Okay. Yeah. I think, God, those days seem so dreamy now. The pre-COVID, like you didn't have to book a class. You just show up and
you pack it in. Everybody's all next to each other, mat to mat. You can't do that.
Oh my gosh. It was a simpler time for sure. I mean, I actually think about that. Like if anybody who's had studios for long enough that you remember those days, when you were starting your business, if you thought you were going to have to do what you're doing today to thrive as a business, would you have done it?
Oh my, yeah, right.
I would have done it way differently, like way differently.
It's so interesting. COVID really was the inflection point, but I also think there's been a general mindset shift, and maybe this was because of COVID, in particularly Gen Z, around investment in wellness. And so there is a lot more money coming into what, traditionally was our little niche of the industry. And with that comes investment in bigger, corporate and franchise organizations, marketing dollars, all of the things that the small independent studio really wasn't thinking about competing with at that point. And now that's survival. You have to. And it really is, especially in Southern California. There's no shortage of demand, but there's no shortage of opportunity either. So it's a matter of really running a solid business on top of providing incredible classes and a community.
100%.
So one thing I wanted to just touch on, because it was obvious to me, even stepping in there as someone who doesn't live in Manhattan, I live in San Diego. I was visiting for the day. Everybody was so welcoming and warm when I walked in your studio. I mean, it was like, because I went to a class where there were a lot of props involved. Somebody was helping me figure out where I should go and what props, and just like the sweetest people. And all I kept thinking was, of course, you do have a studio that has these wonderful souls that are so helpful. But what are you doing that creates a place where people can feel welcome like that? And where do you actually encourage your clients to help new people? What are you doing behind the scenes?
It's what we put in the water. No,
he leads by example for one. That's
yes. Oh, I'm sure.
I think it's definitely leading by example. I have a big presence in the studio, So, and so does Greg. We both have, we try to be there a lot. I love to teach. That's one of my, biggest passions. And so I think that's the biggest piece of it is showing our students and also our other staff. When when I take their classes, they see the example and they follow it. But I think really the other staff that we have, we're so lucky that we have really, really kind people overall, just really kind people. And I'm not going to hire somebody who is not kind, right? And there are plenty of them in this industry, and that's you can read that right away from somebody, and and I think the other thing is that it is part of it is our location, is that it is so, one of my best friends was recently visiting, and he was like, everybody here is so happy and they're smiling. Everybody here is like smiling.
We live by the beach and there are palm trees and sunshine, and we're
I'm like, I think the weather has a lot to do with it, right? Because there's not really many days that we don't have sunshine and access to this.
Actually, the days that we don't, you do feel it. The days that we don't, you do feel it.
It's so cloudy. I can't. Yeah.
Oh yeah. The poor Southern Californians that suffer through June gloom. I don't know how we do it, but
it's very tough being us.
I love those memes that are like, check on your California friends, guys. It's been raining for 2 days.
Okay.
I'm from Western New York. I paid my dues.
But I really do. I think it's mostly by example and sheer, how the saying is like your vibe attracts your tribe. I really believe that. I really believe it. Like, not for this to sound, I don't want this to sound bad in any way, but like I know as soon as somebody comes in who is a client, I know if they're going to be our client for a long time or if they're not. You feel it. You can just feel it. And we just seem to attract people who really care about other people. And that's really what I want in the space.
So with that, I mean, everybody in our industry is talking about generating quality leads and finding the right people to come. Do you think you are drawing those people in with intentional messaging that you put out there, whether it's in advertising, on social media? What do you think that is?
For sure. I think I think if you look at our website, for example, like our brand statement, which is the biggest point that we make is the mantra, which is may all beings be happy and free. That is really top of the line for us. And I think that is everywhere. It's in every studio of ours. It's our big mural. And I think that is in our messaging everywhere. And those are the people who are going to come in and be like, I resonate with that. Like, I care about the world. I care about others. Yeah. And I want to be a part of that. So I think that always kind of comes out in our messaging in one way or the other. And I believe that's what brings people in. Yeah.
I mean, and I do think that a lot of it is in fact organic. That it's members bringing people in because they are having an authentically warm, happy, meaningful experience, and they really are. I think there really is no better advertising than someone
for sure
truly evangelizing your business. That these people have changed my life. Come.
Yeah.
And that's what we're that's what we find they bring the most lifelong customers.
Yeah. It's interesting. We often get asked about, how should we structure a points program to get people to bring more referrals in? And while I understand the benefits of things like that, honestly, like I think about the businesses I refer people to, there is nothing that has to do with somebody giving me money or points or winning something because I referred a client in. It's because I genuinely believe in that. And I loved my experience and I want my friends, my family to have that same experience. So
our win programs like that we've not found to be particularly extra effective. That it really is that it doesn't move the needle tremendously because
people are happy to do it anyways.
Yeah.
They're happy. And those are always, we have a really great very low churn rate. And we think that is a huge part of it, is because a lot of our leads coming in are recommendations from friends or family. And those people come in and they stay for a long time.
I mean, that's and what you're saying is that's where we're living in a large, and we're cutting through the noise is so challenging.
Right.
Retention really becomes also so important, and not just doing it from a sense of I need to keep your business, but like I want to keep you around. Like, you're a meaningful member of this community. Stick around.
Yeah. Well, I think that's felt. Period. If a business cares about you because of your dollars, or if a business cares about you because they genuinely enjoy you being a client. And it's pretty hard to fake that. Okay, so let's pivot a little bit to talk about this place we find ourselves as a world, a country, and every little microcosm there within, where humans are lonely, and we don't seem to be getting better about solving the problem. In fact, I just even over the last few weeks, all of the different things politically happening, socioeconomically, globally, it is really easy to feel divided and really easy to feel isolated. And I would say that the space you've provided has kind of cracked the code on helping people find a respite from that. And I'd love to dig in and just hear how you approach that in your day-to-day, whether it's programming, the specific classes you teach, intentionality of introducing people to each other, helping people find friends. I'd just love to give you the floor there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge why for us, right? Because we want everybody to feel seen, right? To know that they matter. Whatever class, whatever modality they're taking, in our space, like that is first and foremost for us. And I think part of what has helped us really cultivate that is, one, is listening to what's happening, always knowing what's happening and not ignoring it, as hard as it is sometimes. I think if there is a rigidity of, we only offer this programming, we only do things this way, we only teach 90-minute classes or 75-minute classes, right? It's like, we need to be able to be flexible and meet people where they are. So that has really, I think, driven some of our team crazy, because we do change things, from time to time, just because we need to. But I think that is the first key, is being able to listen to what's happening. And like right now, there's a lot of stuff that we've really started offering in the studio space that we never really would have thought of. Like, Greg is offering an improv class. And
oh my gosh.
So fun. And it's amazing.
It's a great
right?
class.
And it's something we totally never would have thought about doing in a yoga space, right? But why not? And it's bringing people together joyfully. And the people that we've met doing it, who are members, who we would never guess that they would be awesome at improv, are the best.
They're awesome. They're awesome at it. They're so good.
Oh my gosh.
Which is great, and so it's things like that. And then we are intentionally, doing a community night where, we're trying to, Katie, who's our creative director, tries to do something a little bit different every time that she's having a community night. Somebody in the community is coming in and they're offering something. They're offering something that they can teach. For example, one of our students is a florist, and so she came in and taught floral design one evening.
Oh, fun.
I mean, it's really, really cool. So it's doing things like that are off of our general programming, and we're not charging for them. We're not trying to make extra money for it. It's saying, okay, here, this is a space that's dedicated specifically for us coming together, having a good time, doing something totally different. And then, we do encourage our community, often at the end of class, or it's some of our teachers in the middle of class will say, turn to the person next to you. And if you don't know them, say hello. Or even if you do know them, say hello. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get the room quiet after that because people will really start to talk to each other, which is great.
Oh, I love it.
So it is those intentional moments. And again, it's
We also promote sing-alongs in class.
Yeah, we do. We ask people to sing, to make noise, to not, because it's, because you're a teacher. It's like when you teach, it's like everybody sigh it out. And when there's silence, you're like, oh God, it's one of the classes. And I'm like,
how does everybody feel today?
It's so awkward. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So we're encouraging, our teachers. We're lucky to have, I think, some of the best teachers in our studios that they care about the community, and we encourage them, to really get to know their students, to come early, take the time to talk before and after, and they all do, and they have really wonderful relationships with so many of our students. And for example, we have a woman who comes. She's been coming for a while, and she has dementia, and everybody in our community, including now a lot of our students, like watches out for her, has her back, and says hello, and like we know her caregivers, and like it's you have to facilitate that, So that's really what we do, but also being really open to what everybody needs, and not boxing yourself in as like, okay, we're only a yoga studio. I mean, we have added a slew of fitness classes because like strength training, Pilates is really popular. And we wanted our students to be able to have that option. And so now, we offer HIIT and HIIT Pilates and more strength classes with weights. And it's been really joyful to see, we do it at both of our studios here in Manhattan Beach, to see an older population that we never would have thought would do it, to jump into that community.
I mean, I have women in their, and I don't teach no one would say I teach an easy class. And I have women in their, 60s coming in and like banging out my classes, and and it's like it's wonderful to see. I think that so many times we talk about, like, when we're talking about creating our businesses, we talk about what's our avatar, and our avatars, and I've always had a really tough time doing that exercise because my avatar is not really a person so much as an experience. Like, what is the avatar experience? And because we want that 20-year-old young woman to be next to Carolyn and be like, that woman to be next to that woman and say, how are you doing today? And having a beautiful little conversation, just that like this is meant to be a lifelong practice. So here we are at different stages of the journey, all coming back together. I think it's crucial,
and that's what's really beautiful about the community is that we do retreats, and I mean the age range of people. We have one of our students who goes on all of our retreats, who is like 86. And she's hiking Machu Picchu. She's hiking Machu Picchu together. Yeah, she's hiking Machu Picchu with like 20-year-olds and with us, and like, and it's this, and I think it's just be who you are. We give everybody permission to just be who they are, and I really think that is one of the best things that we can do.
And it's interesting in this polarizing time to try to, like, we are consciously trying to walk this line of, this is a space where everyone is welcome. And, like, we may have differing political, ideas. We may feel differently about our government, but if we can't be in a room together and move, the battle is lost. So, we really try. Obviously, we have our own political leanings, but that we really try to not let that be the sole governance of how we bring in community.
Right. It's a tricky thing as a business owner to know, what you so fiercely believe in that you're going to be outspoken about and draw a hard line in the sand versus how can I be welcoming and accommodating and make sure that anybody can feel welcome in a space. And
it's almost setting that personal boundary between like who we are as individuals and who we are as business owners, and not being scared of saying who I am as an individual, even though who I am as a business owner may not completely align in any particular thing. Yeah. We're complicated creatures.
Yeah. It is complicated to run a business today when there is a natural reaction from the public, from social media, from whatever it might be, to put you in a camp immediately. Like it's very challenging to not be placed somewhere. And, if you continue, it sounds like to me the undercurrent with everything you're doing is about we rather than me, and joy. You've said that so many times, the number of smiles, the number of joyful experiences. And I love what you said, Greg, about not having a specific avatar, but having an experience that's an avatar experience. And I've often talked to folks in the kind of branding and brand marketing world who talk about that exactly. It's not a specific demographic avatar. It's about an identity that you're trying to help create for that individual or bring them closer towards. And in this case, it's an identity of happy and free and together, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I love that.
And sorry.
Go ahead. Keep going.
And I was just going to say one, and I became a teacher rather recently. I've always been sort of the behind the scenes front desk person. But since we've this new modality, fitness modality, I was like, I can do this, and I feel very good about. And as I was thinking about what we say at the end, like the sort of Dharma talk and what you say at the end of class, it really is as simple as like, we have been moving together since the beginning of, like, that was what humans did when humans became humans. They went out, they hunted things, they brought it back to the fire, and then they danced. And so that's like getting back, like core, like that is the core kind of exercise of what it is we're trying to do. And that's regardless of age, that's regardless of gender, that's regardless of pretty much everything else. Everybody came back to the fire and everybody danced. And so that's it took a while for us, I feel like, to come to any sort of like to congeal. But I think that's where we kind of are, like, our mission now is that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a very primal and primal and simple idea, but so powerful when we feel it together, right? There's such power in togetherness. Okay, so stepping away from the primal, simple side of things, but maybe not so much. I'm curious, just because I live in tech world, and I think a lot of people listening to this podcast like to hear any tips and tricks, but how are you guys leveraging technology, whether it be AI, whether it be certain tools, Walla, anything else that help you with creating community, with staying in touch with people, with building that retention mechanism that you are so fiercely passionate about?
Walla.
No, it's true. It is the number one tech tool that we use. I mean, I think that one of the things we started doing recently is creating audiences for our teachers to start to do personal reach outs to people.
Oh, yes.
And, using it in that way, right? Where we have these specific audiences for these, students who haven't been to Liz's class in 6 weeks, so she can reach out and say, hey, how you doing? Right. Personally. And the people that respond, actually, it's amazing. We use, of course, the incredible marketing suite. Like, we use it and we use it.
Yeah. You guys are like super users.
We're super users. But, I think, of course, like everybody, AI is incredibly helpful for some things, And I think what we've tried to really do is move. We're trying to move away from the convenience of it, especially in communicating with the community, right? And so that it's like we're writing something that's not written by ChatGPT, but that is actually written by us. But it has its incredible uses, and of course, I have found ChatGPT use it all the time for financial reports and analysis and stuff, because it's wildly fast and accurate. But again, we continue to use Zoom. We are still live streaming our classes, which is something I never thought we would still be doing, but it keeps another part of our community together. And it also helps when people are out of town, when someone is sick, that they can just jump on and do it. And that is really huge for us, for sure.
Yep. That's great. I've gotten to live stream your class before. It really is something that, if it's simple for you to execute as a business, if there's no extra, major cost or work associated, why not? I mean, so
100%.
many people can benefit at different times. It really is. I mean, it's changed our industry quite a bit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting to hear. I love that you're using the audiences for your teachers specifically. We definitely had that in mind when we built the audiences functionality. And I mean, as much as automations are so helpful, those personal outreaches were just, it's such a surprise and delight as a consumer to hear from a person and it be intentional, and it's not a lot of work for them to have to do it, right?
Absolutely. And that's the biggest, I think that is one of the biggest retention, helpers for us is, hey, I haven't seen these people. I have this list right here in this audience. I'm just going to reach out to everybody right now.
Yeah.
And it's so meaningful to people, We say, hey, I haven't seen you for 6 weeks. Is everything okay? Yes, I've been really, really sick, but, I'll be back, soon.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
I mean, I do think that is a bit of a cultural shift for teachers, and because that was never their job before. Like pre-COVID, there would have never been no studio owner would have said, "Hey, I need you to reach out to your folks and blah blah blah." And so there's always that little bit of like, I didn't sign up for this with my 200-hour training, but the fact that you make it so easy with it, like these are the people, like it's very simple, and like these are folks like them, so like you should want to know how they're doing, you should want to know how they're feeling. It's you make the bar so low with that sort of being able to kind of set it up like that allows for
the goal.
That allows for authentic research.
Well, in the community, I think the community prefers that. I know that they do. They prefer that individual contact and that one-on-one. I know. I'll never forget. I hired a teacher to teach a class once. This was right after COVID. Who had a really, really beautiful Instagram, really tons of followers. And I thought, oh, this is going to be great. Like, this is really going to be wonderful. Like, she'll bring people in. The class is going to be amazing. And she didn't say hello to anybody before or after class. And 3 people left midway through class because there was a disconnect. Right. And so, so that contact is everything. It's everything.
Yeah. I find now, actually less so in yoga today. I go to a lot of other types of fitness businesses or styles too. And there's like this, fitness instructor / actor role that some people play. And it's very clear that it's about them, like it's very, very obvious that it's follow me, like see what a day in the life of me as a fitness instructor is. And it's very me centric. And it sounds like probably the people you attract as teachers are not those people most of the time, especially. It's easy to get enticed by a big Instagram following, especially if you're in that mode. Okay, well, that's the personal communication is always going to trump anything automated. And I think we're hungry. Like, I don't know about you, but now it's pretty obvious to see when AI has written something. And I find myself just barely reading it, like glazing over, because I know it's not somebody's real words or real thought. And now when I see something that has flaws in it or it isn't perfect, I find myself leaning into it more. I want to see what is being said.
Oh my God. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bizarre time to be.
It's a really interesting time to be alive because it's, we want that, we want convenience and things to be easy and wonderful. And there are such great things about the AI experience and some of the conveniences that we have. But, I think what we're starting to see is, oh no, like if we move too far in that direction, what are we doing? Like, what's our purpose?
Well, what's the point? What are we getting more convenient from?
Right.
Like what?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, why would we choose to not want to talk to other people? Like that's, that doesn't, then what are we left? We literally are then we are putting ourselves, we're setting ourselves up to scroll on our phones. Like
and I think that's the point. So many people have fallen into that where, I mean, if I see half of my kids' friends come over to our house and cannot make eye contact with me, like mumble a hello, and I'm watching, like my daughter is asleep over and 4 girls are laying on the bed, scrolling on their phones individually next to each other. And it's and I'll come in, I'm like, phones off, out of here, girls talk to each other. But it's,
aren't you supposed to prank call a boy or something?
Exactly. Go get in trouble.
Yes. Well, that's my theory as to, I don't know if you've seen it, but this is my theory as to part of the reason why Heated Rivalry is so popular. And so wonderful. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it.
I haven't yet because I don't have HBO, but I need to just buy HBO and do it.
It's worth it. But it's this passion and this fire and this life that I think, we've lost a little bit of, this contact and this connection because of just the convenience of everything. And then we're now isolated, in our homes so much of the time that people are like, oh, I forgot what passion felt like and what those feelings felt like, that, I think it's reawakening something, I hope.
Done. All right. That's my weekend plans.
Yes.
I need to watch it. Yeah.
You get it done.
I'm sure I will. I mean, one of my girlfriends sent me a text, when the guys' hockey team were total jerks and laughing at the girls' hockey team, and I lost my mind as a female athlete. Well, my girlfriend was like, text me, and she's like, okay, I know I told you to watch Heated Rivalry. They are much less asshat than real hockey players.
It's true. It's yes.
Oh man. Anyway, it was pretty funny. Okay, well, guys, it has been such a pleasure to have you on today. I'd love our listeners to know where they can find you if they're in Southern California or not on live stream. Where should they check you out?
soulseekyoga.com.
We have a heated studio and an unheated studio in Manhattan Beach, and then we have a studio in Santa Barbara.
All right, and Soul, SOL, Seek.
SOL.
Yeah, awesome. And guys, I mean, maybe I need to be up there for your improv class. So let me know when that is, because I've never done that.
Love to have you.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much. And we'll see you next time on Well.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.